ICE, the federal immigration agents, are terrifying the immigrant communities across the United States of America.
The American dream that we used to have has become an American nightmare for each and every one of us.
Mary wants to help.
You know, it's words of encouragement. You know, I'm in a position where I'm able to help.
But not everyone sees it that way.
It wants to flood our nation with foreigners who have no love or anything in common with our country.
A country deeply divided by fear and power. Mary is a first-generation American. Born and raised in Washington, D.C., she's part of a loud political Gen Z. She's never been to her parents' Central American homeland, which they left for a better life. Mary and other Gen Z organizers raise money for families hit by deportations.
We're all affected by this. And of course, you know, it's words of encouragement. You know, I'm in a position where I'm able to help. Like, I can get questioned, I can get stopped, but I'm least likely to get stopped than someone else in my community. So with that privilege, I should be able to help other people in my community.
Under President Trump's tougher enforcement, many undocumented families barely leave home, afraid of federal immigration agents, known as ICE. ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, has been ramping up arrests nationwide under Trump's deportation push. According to their own figures, more than 300,000 deportations taken place through September this year, and ICE's funding nearly tripled compared to last year. People are taken on the way to work, at the grocery store, even while picking up their kids from school. For decades, undocumented immigration has been part of everyday America. An estimated 11 million people live here without papers. Many for years, even decades. They work, pay taxes, and build lives. But they can't vote. They are not citizens.
Mine. We're taking America back, baby. Esto es para América. Los Estados Unidos es número uno. Lo estamos tomando otra vez de nuevo.
Among ICE agents, there are many Latinos. Today, Mary visits a family that's been here for more than 30 years, undocumented and in hiding for months.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, hermano?
Pasen adelante.
¿Cómo están?
Bien, gracias.
Their things are packed and ready. They've decided to leave the US for Central America. Even Mary is stunned. Mary, did you know they're moving back?
Well, just when I came in, I knew it was something that was an option. And I knew it was getting harder to keep living like that. It still caught me by surprise, but I understand it.
Yes, we've been thinking about that, because honestly, there's no future.
They have 3 kids, all born and raised in the US. None has ever been to the country they're now moving to. The parents go out only when they must. Work, food, then straight back home.
Here, many have left and haven't returned home. They've been arrested and taken away. So you only go out when you really have to, and you go out fast, in and out. Of course, you have to buy food, go to work. At work, you're watching, worried that they might show up. It's intense stress. What's happening now is that they're taking anyone, even people with no criminal record. They're just taking them. We Latinos didn't come to take anyone's jobs. We came to do the jobs they don't do, the jobs they don't want to do. The American dream we used to believe in has turned into a nightmare for every single one of us.
It's testimony like this that drives Mary and her neighbors to raise money for families hit by deportations to pay rent, bail, and legal fees.
So with all 3 events that we did, it was all led by Gen Z. So the flea market was Gen Z, and like the people donating clothes brought a Gen Z perspective. And Gen Z loves thrifting. And we're all just making an effort to bring joy back to the community. I think I was born in the right generation.
These young Republicans also think they were born in the right generation, one that will fix all problems and put Americans first. We're at a black tie gala hosted yearly by the Young Republicans Club in New York City. The guest list is global, conservatives from Hungary and Italy, and a delegation from Germany's far-right party AfD. So we ask, what does conservative Gen Z expect from immigration policy?
Do I look good?
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely amazing thing that Trump is deporting illegals. Trump is underperforming, actually. I think he's not performing at the level that we see him, we want to see him at, and I think that he's doing an okay job, but we could see a better job from him.
Well, because they're foreigners, you know, we have these American institutions. They're meant for Americans to educate us. And what are we doing? We're recruiting people from out of the country. We are educating them and then having them compete with ourselves. It doesn't make any sense.
I think there's a ton of support for the current policy, but I think it's too early to tell, and they need to keep going. They need to commit if they're going to try to make it work.
People have to know that the laws are going to be enforced, that they can't just, keep this endless flow of immigration just going for years. And it's like if some people have to be deported, it's kind of just like what people have to see.
The president of the New York Young Republican Club, Stefano Laudaros Forte, doesn't see it differently. He speaks of an enemy wanting to.
It wants to flood our nation with foreigners who have no love or anything in common with our country, who eat from our hand and spit in our faces.
The evening culminates with a German-Mexican tenor singing the US-American anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed?
We meet Troy Olson, Sergeant at Arms at the New York Young Republican Club. He wrote a book arguing America is entering a new populist era.
Generations got defined beyond.
Do I believe we're the most compassionate and generous country in the world? Yes, I do. But I also believe in the rule of law.
Troy also links today's economic anxiety in the US to immigration.
I would prefer that job go to an American citizen, specifically a Gen Z person who wants to buy a home, marry someone, and have kids. I want that job to go to them. Period. That's the right thing to do. Otherwise, being an American citizen is meaningless. It's a meaningless category. If anyone can just come here and work and push them out of a job, what is the point and value of even being an American citizen at that point if just anyone can have it? I think that job should go to a high school kid to build a work ethic, and then he'll be on his way, her way, to a better job. I don't want to have an undocumented permanent underclass in this country, which is what that incentivizes. I'm sorry.
Mary takes us through her neighborhood, once a Latino stronghold.
But we had an even bigger sign that I'll tell you about. Yeah, because here's where the big thing happened, where there was a whole bunch of like ICE cars a few months back, and all of this area right here was just filled with the neighbors chasing them out, saying get out of here. They're saying like rude things to them, but still, like, rightfully so, they were just expressing that they're not welcome here. If there's no one watching, they could do whatever they want.
She shows us what has changed since the new policies took effect. Warnings on walls, on the floor, and empty streets. A collective fear among all immigrants. Some signs mark the exact place and time someone was taken. Others protest against the masked agents.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, conozca tus derechos. Yeah, a lot of businesses, thankfully there's a lot of organizations and like grassroots, like they did a huge effort in printing out information just so people can stay in the know of what they can and what they can't do.
A neighborhood that used to feel loud and open now moves quietly.
For the Gen Z Latinos, the first gen Central American Americans, like it's hitting us. There's no way to get around that, even if your parents are citizens, you know.
For many, the church is a refuge, hope, help, and solidarity. Volunteer lawyers offer free legal advice. And the priest stays on watch, checking who's been arrested and whether they've been processed. A safe harbor when fear is everywhere.
We're not talking only about the Hispanic community. We Poles, if we don't have papers, we're also undocumented in that sense. So we're talking about a migrant community. Africans, Filipinos, Asians, people from everywhere. We're talking about a whole migrant community.
A place where everyone comes together, Hades.
Sorry, thank you. Thanks.
No matter the generation, class, or nationality, Mary works here. It's her mother's restaurant. She arrived as a teenager, walking from Central America, crossing the US border, and later became an American citizen during the Reagan and Bush years. Today, she owns several businesses. Tonight's karaoke night. A country deeply divided into two Americas, one led by fear, the other by power.